I don't know why I'm counting like this. And we're live! Hello, everyone. Greetings, scribblers, bibliophiles, and other carbon-based life forms. Welcome to the 5th episode. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know I could count to 5 of Don't Drinkin' Live, the internet show where we do exactly what we just said not to do and attempt to write Hemingway style. We're going to write some flash fiction. We're going to do it live. We're going to read it to you. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the awful. Probably me with the awful. Okay, so I've got some wonderful guests here today. I've got Suey, also known as Sue. I've got Bethany Votaw. I've got Hannah Palmer, and I've got Don White. A bunch of amazing writers, great friends, and great collaborators. And you know what? I just want to know what's going on with you guys. Suey, what's up?
Hello, how are you? I'm so excited to be here.
And you know what? I just want to know what's going on with you guys. Suey, what's up? Oh boy, the Phantom has spoken.
Have I got an echo?
Somebody's got their thing on. Okay. Bethany Votaw, what's going on with you?
Hello.
Hi. Not much. Just plugging away. Man, I hear myself through someone else. Oh, it's like my own voices in my head. I hate that.
Everybody make sure you got your YouTube.
If you're playing
it. That's what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, same old, same old. I can't believe we've done this for 5 different episodes. That's crazy.
That's awesome. Hannah Palmer, what's
up?
up?
I'm going to pass the mic. I don't know what's going on.
Hello. I'm good. I am working on edits of novel number 2 and am looking forward to writing my 2nd ever flash whilst drunk.
Wait, you've never...
I've written one flash. One thing. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's... And you're going to do your 2nd time live in front of everyone and then read it?
Yep.
You got some big brass ones, lady.
So dumb.
Don White, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. I'm just working on currently titled Catalyst. It's in the outlining phase right now, so we'll see what happens.
I like the title, Catalyst. That's awesome. Yeah. What kind of a story is it?
Fantasy. We'll see what how it goes, though. It may turn into something else. It's a very, very beginning of everything right now. I think I sent something to Bethany on a little bit I did with it a while ago. That was a while ago, right, Bethany? That was can't hear you.
It was, yeah.
So, it's kind of funny you bring up fantasy and you're wearing a Star Wars shirt. I was actually having a discussion with somebody the other day, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Star Wars is sci-fi." I'm like,
"No,
is it though?"
No,
I think it's kind of a fantasy story.
Fantasy in space. Yeah, wizards, knights, you got it all, man.
Just saying.
Yeah,
just saying. All right, so what have I got going on? Let's see. I just put a book out. Had some fun with that. A short story collection, Evil Grows in the Dark. Go check it out if you want to. And I got another book coming out in May, Blind Spot, a supernatural thriller set in future Los Angeles where angels and demons and gangsters and cops all battle for the soul of the city. That was a pretty good elevator pitch, wasn't it? Just right.
Really good.
All right.
Yeah, big fan.
I also want to just shout out Hannah Palmer's book, number 47, right now, because I've literally now read it twice. The second time all in the bathtub. I know that's weird, but that's what happened. So she put out one of the slickest thrillers that I have ever read. It reminded me of Gillian Flynn mixed with Stephen King's Misery, mixed with American Psycho, and it just had a rhythm to it that I can't get out of my head. And I've been kind of geeking out on it ever since I read it. Hannah, amazing book.
Thank you. It was a fluke.
Is your next book going to be a thriller as well?
No, it's a horror.
Do tell. Tell me more.
Well, it's kind of a thriller horror. So my elevator pitch is nowhere near as good as yours. I should have written something down. Basically, a kid goes missing. 5 years later, he reappears and he hasn't changed a bit. And it's all about working out where he went, what happened to him, who knows more than they're letting on, that kind of jazz.
Okay, we got to talk later because I wrote where that exact thing happens in the beginning. I want to see where you
Oh,
went.
good.
That's so cool. I got the idea from a series named Castle Rock, where it's like a mashup of Stephen King books. I don't know why I have a guitar pick in my hand. It's a mashup of Stephen King books and Stephen King characters. But there's this character that they've been keeping him under the jail, and he hasn't aged in years and years and years. He's been there the whole time, and that's where I got the idea. So I had a lady she's a district attorney, and she comes to the jail, and they're like, and the first scene is her in an interrogation room, in the police side of the interrogation room, and the curtain is closed, and through the scene, the guy's trying to break it to her that it's her brother that she thinks died years and years ago, and the cop slow rolls and shows her pictures like, this is your brother, right? And he shows another picture, brother, this is your brother, right? She's like, I don't know where you got that picture. That's from 10 years ago. And then she opens the curtain, and he's sitting on the other side. So that was the whole idea for the story, and it turned into this rambling sci-fi epic weirdness. But I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Not sci-fi, but yeah, I'll let you know.
Is it realism, or is it like heightened realism, or?
Yeah, realism. A little bit of supernatural.
Okay. So I'm going to take a minute here and explain the rules. I love rules. I really don't like rules, but we have some. Here are the rules for Don't Drink and Live. What we're going to do is, first, we're going to go to the audience, all the wonderful people we have in the chat. I will acknowledge you in a moment, I promise. And we're going to find out what our topic for today is. Then we're going to take about 5 minutes, put ourselves on the timer and under some pressure, and talk about it. And then we are going to get 2 10-minute sprints. That's all we get to write our stories. There's no editing. There's no going back and fixing. There's nothing to it. And then everybody can send their stories to me at kentshawnauthor@gmail.com, which I will put up on the screen for everybody. Please don't send me weird pictures like last time. Thank you. Then all the hosts here will read their stories live. And if you want to get involved, you can send me the story, and one of us can read live. The host of your choice, the host with the most. Probably all going to be Bethany. Bethany, read my story. That's what everybody wants. That's what we're going to do. So anytime you want, you guys can just start putting your suggestions in the chat. And do you guys have any ideas for a prompt that you might like to write? Don't all talk
Liars, ghosts, dinosaurs.
Ooh, liars.
I don't know. Okay, so before we go on, I'm sorry, my sound is weird. There's like a 2-second delay. I'm not slow, just the computer is slow. So yeah, because you all just laughed like 3 seconds after I said that. Anyway, I vote either dogs or liars or retirement or anything like interesting, because I feel like writing something dark.
Dogs. Okay, I'm throwing them in the chat as I go. I think I wrote digs.
Digs.
Like Bethany. That reminds me of the movie Snatch. Like Dags. You like Dags? Yeah, I do like dogs. It's my best British accent. I'm sorry.
That wasn't bad.
What else did you say? Retirement? Retirement. Okay, I got that in there. How about you in the chat? What have you got? Anybody? What do you got? Well, you guys are really loud today. I'm going to have to talk a lot, I can see.
Well, I can keep going.
Oh, you got more?
I've got lots of ideas. What about balloons or dinosaurs or I don't know. I've just got loads of
dinosaurs.
Because we've never done a dinosaur one. But I'm also like, I'm kind of feeling like a balloon or I don't know. Because what are you guys aiming to write? Do you want to scare the audience, make them laugh? What are you guys thinking?
I would like to try to not write a story with a twist. I always do that, and it's really hard to figure out in 20 minutes. What was your first Flash piece like, Hannah? What did you write about?
Oh, it's in the Twisted 10. It's the sci-fi monstery wristband thing.
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can't give it away, though, because the Twisted 10 are putting out a book. Something
2
like
weeks today.
Seasons of Darkness. Is it the 20th?
Yeah.
I probably should Know that? Okay. Wow. Starting to get some stuff here. Okay. I need to go back up. First of all, hello to everybody here. And we've got books by Adrian. Hello, Adrian. I'm going to be on Adrian's stream tomorrow at 2 p.m. Please come check it out. We're going to talk about my favorite subject, story structure, and quit making fun of me when I bring up the hero's journey 77,000 times. We have Laura Nettles, and here's her suggestion, which I really like, Alchemy.
That's cool.
Barrett Laurier, which I'm always worried that I'm saying his name wrong. He's my friend, and if I mispronounce his name, I feel like a big jerk. And his False Identity. See, these are solid today. Here we've got the novel Nana, Bex. Nice to see you, Bex, my sister from another mister. And she says car graveyard. That makes me think of like Christine or Stephen King. What else we got? Fingers. Bethany already has a flash piece written for that. Nice to see you, Orla. Go check out Orla's audiobook anthology if you want a good time. Baby from Sue. And that's because she's going to a baby shower. So, yeah. Message from Jared Simmons. How you doing, Jared? Nice to see you today, man. Message. You need to elaborate on that. Just any kind of message. Aliens. Mutant. Is that? Excuse me. I've had a little bit to drink. Drunk, which I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. Some sort of hybrid apex stag. Okay, David, you got it. This is one of my comrades in arms here. I think he had more detail up top. I'm going to go find it. Also, Richard Holiday is here. Had a lot of fun on his stream yesterday. Richard says, taking a delivery, but it's not for you, and the real owner tracks you down. That's interesting. All right. You guys are we starting to find a favorite here or what? Don White, which one do you like?
These are all so good. I don't know. I feel like it can make something work.
Well, that alchemy sounded pretty good.
Vitamin C?
Vitamin C.
That's kind of random. I don't know why, but I kind of like that. Airplane debris.
Oh, that rhymed.
Asteroid belt. Hey, how you doing, Kelly? Nice to have you here today. Okay. Gosh, man. There's some good ones here. I'm actually a little indecisive. I'm going to put it out to the other co-hosts here to help me decide. Usually I find one I like right away, and I like kind of all of them. Salvage yard. What do you think? What's your favorite so far, Hannah?
I like car graveyard. I think that's pretty cool.
Car graveyard.
Mm.
Okay. Car grave. We got to vote for car graveyard. What do you think, Don? You there, Don? Don is either very, very still or frozen. I don't know which. All right. Airplane debris. I think we're going to go with car graveyard then. Oh, we lost Don. He'll be back. All right. Car graveyard. Okay, I need to find a timer. We're going to pull it up, and we're going to chit-chat for about 5 minutes and figure out what we're going to write about here.
No clue. Absolutely no clue.
I've got nothing.
And as usual.
I think I'm going to be generous and give us 8 minutes to talk about it this time because I have no idea what I'm going to write about. All right, I'm going to share.
Start writing in the last half anyway, so whatever.
Okay, this last time I actually started writing right away. I had an idea, I ran with it, I went super fast, and then all I did was panic the entire second sprint that I wasn't going to get to the end because I had so far to go to get there. The other times I started writing and then said, that sucks, and scrapped everything and went back and started over. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And as everybody knows that's ever been on a stream with me, the odds of that working out are pretty low. And there we go. Did it work? Yay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 8 minutes, writers. So I'm trying to get away with my initial thought because as soon as you said car graveyard, I immediately start thinking Christine and haunted cars, and I want to get away from that. I don't want to get stuck on that idea. How about you guys? What do you got? Crickets.
I'm feeling really self-conscious about my like sound stuff, but I'll talk anyway. I'm thinking of I'm just thinking of a setting. Like I think I want to set it in there and just kind of have the car graveyard kind of be an afterthought, but like an undertone of what's to come. I don't know. But then I don't know. I'm just thinking of the setting of what I could do in there.
Maybe it is just a setting, and maybe it's not a subject. Maybe it's just you have to set your scene there.
Mm-hmm.
Come back, Dawn.
I think I'm thinking of some kind of police investigation that leads them to a car graveyard to find a piece of evidence or something.
Well, what else is a car graveyard? It's a place that you put things that have kind of run their course. Something that's lost its value.
I think of like just a junkyard, like a hoarder's junkyard that's just called the graveyard.
Car grave. So it could be a car collector, but instead of collecting like flash cars and stuff, he collects like wrecked derelicts and just like maybe he lives in them.
It's kind of fun.
Maybe he. Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah, I've got one.
I have an idea. I'm not going to tell you.
I'm still stuck. I like the idea of like messing with the name, like everyone knows what it is, but no one wants to say it. I don't know. I really want to write something creepy, so we'll see what I can come up with.
I never set out to write something creepy, and then I end up with like child serial killers and. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that one was pretty out there. It was good though. But yeah, that wasn't meant to be creepy. Are you kidding?
Okay, well, I didn't start out that way. I wanted to do a warm thing where like a lady was giving a boy his dying wish. Just turns out that his dying wish was to be famous for killing someone. No big deal.
That story needs to go in your next collection. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much, Sue. Book Spider, I'm thinking Graveyard Book, but with cars. So Graveyard Book, that's
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, it's Neil Gaiman's kind of take on Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book. It's just a graveyard instead of the jungle, which is a great idea. Anybody else? What do you got in the chat? What are you guys thinking, those of you that are brave enough? Laura Nettles says she can't stop thinking of a scene in a horrible animated movie called, I can't read that word, Rhapsite Street Kids Believe in Santa. And that takes place in a junkyard?
Rhapsody Street Kids.
The timer's ticking down, but I think I've got an idea that's going to work. The question is, can I get it out of my brain that fast? Liquor will help. What's everybody drinking? What do you got? I know
I have
got some weird slushy that she's having.
It's Jell-O shots, but they didn't come out right, so it's now a Jell-O vodka parfait. Things are great in the Votaw household, I promise.
Okay.
Okay, for those that just joined,
things are great.
The topic for today is car graveyard, and we're trying to figure out whether that's what the story's about, or if it's just a setting for the scene, or how we're going to attack that. And let me tell you, once that first 10-minute timer starts, things get tense around here.
I got my idea. I am so ready. Let's start it now. I'm going to forget it. Oh my gosh.
Write it down.
Hang on. I need to talk it out to myself.
All right. She seems really excited, which is
kind of nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm terrified. I don't understand with Hannah's writing style, which is incredibly descriptive and detailed. How are you going to get this out in 20 minutes?
I'm not good at. Well, actually, I think I'm an underwriter, but clearly not.
Can I just say something about the Twisted 10? Your flash fiction in there is great, but I am dying over oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the title, though. The one with the letters, Return to Sender. It is such a simple concept, but it was long and drawn out because of your beautiful prose and the way that you like crafted like this internal and external event and the setting. And I really, really love it. I loved it. And I think you have a big talent for really immersing your readers. And so, yeah, how are you going to do this in flash fiction?
I don't know. Again.
I'm going to try to give Don a little bit of extra time to come back. He is not answering me. I think his internet crashed and burned. So I definitely have my idea, and I definitely don't know how it ends or why it matters, but the idea is cool. I just don't have the action. You know what I mean? Like, I know I know what's cool about this, but I don't know how we're going to kind of discover it as an audience. I'm trying to figure that out right now. David says multiple pick and pull cars, parts of a crazed mechanic trying to build a suit or robot. Oh, you're watching Iron Man. So David's a new
That's
daddy. Fair. Congratulations to David. Richard is impressed with David's amazing imagination. Okay, I'm definitely ready to go. I want to give Don a chance to get back though. Let's see. What can I do to kill time till Don gets back? Oh, let me think. Wait, I've got it. I'm gonna drink more.
That's great. It's a solution.
Emergency plane landing happens on a graveyard of cars in an area with no roads. You know, I just thought of the movie Con Air when she said that. You remember that movie with Nicolas Cage?
God, that is a movie.
Aren't they in a car graveyard at one point and then they fly a plane out of there? Or is that
I feel like it is. Yeah.
Okay. Lots of creativity in here. I would just like to advertise for ice drinks. These are amazing. They're 0 calorie and they make lots of wonderful flavors. Today I'm having orange mango. It goes great with vodka.
Ooh. Fun fact, I am deathly allergic to mangoes.
What?
I love mangoes.
Oh no.
Maybe the viewpoint of an unfound murder victim in the it could be a ghost. Oh, great idea, Laura.
That's cool.
You know. That was a good idea.
Write it. I'm combining my idea of retirement with this thing. I think they go hand in hand. I like the idea of an old junkyard. Yeah. This could be good.
All right. I gotta put the
ladies and the ladies.
All right, boys and girls, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
We'll do our best.
I'm asking Don right now if he wants us to wait. He did just message me, so he's alive. There was no nuclear accident or anything like that. Richard Holiday, get out.
Get out. Thank you. My catchphrase is catching on, Richard.
He who would pun would pick a pocket. Novel Nana. Car graveyard is the entrance to the gates of hell.
That's fun.
Ooh, that's deep.
That's way too close to my idea, David. I'm getting that off there right now. David's not even a writer. Check this guy out, man. He's throwing up the good ideas. All right.
Well, that is cool.
Why isn't he? He should just start.
I don't know. Let's ask him. David, why aren't you a writer? Why haven't you started? Pressure.
Present.
Pressure.
You've got the ideas.
So, do any of you guys have any? I'm trying to give Don a minute here. Do any of you guys have like a different way of approaching Flash than you would like a normal scene? For me, I start approaching it like a scene, and I kind of get myself in trouble because I'm trying to have too much nuance, too many things going on at once for that kind of snapshot of Flash fiction. If somebody knows an antidote to that, please explain it to me.
Yes, please.
Personally, I always go into it with what do I want to make my readers feel? And then I pick something that multiple people might be able to relate to. And if I want to make them feel happy, I find a scene that they can connect with and get emotionally involved in fast. If I want to get them just scared or unsettled, I pick a scene that they might have experienced, or it's in the realm of possibility, which is probably why you don't see me doing a ton of like science fiction or fantasies, because I haven't really figured out how to do that well yet. But that's just my process. I'm curious about your guys's.
I don't have a process. I just start writing and hope it wraps up fast enough.
That's what I'm going to do.
Well,
Seems to be working. So,
well, what I think is something has to change, right? Like somebody has to change in some way, or they have to be on their way to some kind of something that they've been working towards, or something about them has to change to like beat a challenge. That's always where I start. But sometimes, it carries me away, and I keep thinking this could be a bigger story, and it really becomes a problem. Like I have to stop chasing shiny objects and just get to the point. Okay, Don is not going to make it back, so he's doing something right now. He may jump in on the next sprint, and then he's going to be under horrible pressure.
Yeah, it's easy.
Nana asked, this is a good question actually for you, Bethany. For your Flash, do you have sentence limits? And I definitely don't. I try to think in words and not sentences. But and you already answered it. Well, great. I'm a terrible host, and I have no attention.
it's okay. I just know that my sound's all weird, so I'm like trying to do more like writing versus speaking. But here I am speaking. It's fine. I will not interpretive dance to Richard, who asked for that. You'll just have to deal with my lagging voice.
Right now. Okay, here we go. We're going to go for it. We're going to start this timer. We're going to see how this comes out. Guys, good luck. On your mark. Get set. Go. That came way too quickly. I don't know why I sang that. Boom. Okay, how'd you do?
Uh-oh.
That's not the sound you want to hear.
No.
I will say that I probably barely got 100 words because I keep changing my mind.
I have
That's not true. I got 215.
I have 240, and I don't think it's going to be getting much longer. I think I need to like refine it, and I think it's going to stay pretty close. I think it's going to be under 300.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like microfiction.
I don't know how many words I have. Hang on.
More than 6.
More than 6. How many words is a flash fiction?
I just say anything under 1,000, but I usually aim for 800. But you know,
Okay.
I've read flash fiction that's definitely felt way longer than 800 words, and it was only 800 words. So keep that in mind, I guess.
I got 461.
Dang, fingers flying.
That's great. That's great. I kind of like that mine's going to be shorter this week because last week I spent my whole time in just absolute panic that I wasn't going to get to the end. So now I really only have like a few paragraphs to go, to be honest, to finish. So I just got to figure out I want it to turn really fast. What about you, Sue? How'd you do?
You have paragraphs.
Hello, Suey.
I
Okay.
had sentences, not paragraphs.
I think mine's going to be mostly dialogue this time. Because last time I wrote all this like long explanations of things, descriptions, and I was just like, I'm kind of hunting around though today. Like it's not just popping out. I'm like, no, back up. I don't like that feeling. It's not a good one. Okay.
Beth, you'll be happy I've gone down the Goonies vibe.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Give me some goodies.
Nostalgia.
Okay, so in the audience, of course, Richard, as usual, got 7,053 words. Unfortunately, they're all the and. It's weird. Laura Nettles got 185. She did a great job the last time she was on with a piece of flash fiction about Cinderella. And that was amazing. And he wants to know if he's allowed to adjust his indents. I'm not sure what that means. It's probably code for something weird and potentially gross. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Adrian's been left alone with the children unexpectedly, so he wrote 0 words. But he said a lot, like stop, get off that. Other words. Milking the brain like a decimated cow.
I love that description. It is very image heavy. All right.
Orla got about 150 handwritten. Damn, girl, that's impressive. It really is I'm actually a fan of handwriting because I think movement helps creativity, but I just get flustered because I don't write fast.
Oh no.
Hello. We kicked him out. It's our turn, ladies.
Hey, crash out now.
It's on us.
I'm here.
It's back.
I clicked the button.
All right.
And weird things happen. But anyway, what I was saying was I'm actually like really seriously looking into dictation right now because I keep breaking my flow state because of the technical act of writing. And at first I didn't want to do it. Look at Sue's already shaking her head. Give me a second, Sue. I want to explain this. Okay, this is actually kind of a big deal. I've been thinking about this a lot. So I want to put this out to you guys. The only reason we write originally wrote with our hands or chiseled into stone tablets, if you're my age, then the only reason we did it because that was the only way to get the words down. And then after that, there's keyboards. So typing is the thing. And then the purists of the quill would be like, oh, these Philistines, they have gone away from the quill to the typing. It's modern technology. It's not art any longer. You know what I'm saying? That's how Benjamin Milnes would say it. I tease him every time on every stream. I love that guy, by the way. I tried to get him on. He won't come. But I'm gonna beat on his beard until he comes. And then beat on his beard. Probably there's a gross joke in there somewhere. Just don't tell me if there is. Richard, shut up. Anyway. But here's the way I'm thinking about dictation is it's just another way to put words somewhere. And then the question is like, what is it I'm being a purist about if I don't want to stop typing? If writing words and telling stories is the goal, what does the instrument have to do with it really? And really the Stone Age people that were having the chisels, they're like yelling at the people that came up with a pen because you're going away from the chisel. Don't you know the chisel is the real art form? Like that's kind of like I keep telling myself that I'm drinking too much and I can't put my sentences together. But I keep telling myself that it's not necessary to like hang on to these things. I remember my parents would be like, TV is gonna ruin all of you, and now
Netflix.
Now it's cell phones. Now it's whatever. But everybody seems to be fine. So I'm gonna give it a try and I see if I can get more stories out.
I think it's a good shout. I think a lot of people have a similar attitude to dictation as they do audiobooks. I think it doesn't matter the medium as long as you're given it.
I am a believer in audiobooks because I think people, because reading is an acquired skill. Somebody was asking me, like, actually came up with your book. I was like, yeah, I read it again the other day. And they're like, you did what? You must have tons of spare time. I'm like, no, I don't. I read really fast because I read all the time. And it doesn't mean that I'm like skipping words or not experiencing the story, but to me, it plays like a movie. And I think that some people that haven't gained that skill, like probably early in life, hearing it's way easier for them because there's no mental acrobatics from getting from, what's on the page to like making the picture. So anybody that wants to hear one of my stories or read one of my stories or experience one of my stories, I'm going to put it in every possible medium they could want. I just actually talked to somebody that's got connections with the graphic novel industry today. And I just don't see why I wouldn't do that too. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat? Is dictation evil and awful? And Sue's probably got something to say. Sue, you got something to say about dictation?
No.
She for sure does.
Go on.
I feel as if you're lying, Sue.
No, I think dictation is awesome. I've been trying to do it better on my walks. I got a couple of apps. I'm just trying to get better at it. And I think it just takes practice, but it also helps just to talk out a story or like brain dump. But yeah, I like handwriting for flash fiction if I've got an idea that's just like kind of stuck because it does force me to slow down. But I could never write like a full novella or novel with handwriting. Like I know I would not be able to finish it. Facts. But Hannah did, right? Did you do your novella?
I got about halfway through handwritten, and then I kind of literally bullet pointed the rest handwritten, and I shelved it whilst I'm editing. But no.
So Writing Violet says, just got here, don't know what I'm coming into, which you never do on the Kent Sean YouTube channel. But she writes majority with speech to text. So I got to ask you, are you using Dragon Dictation? Because I just bought it today, and I'm about to really start experimenting with it. Or do you just use a dictaphone? Or dictaphone sounds like a dirty joke.
Sue's laughing over there.
I just honestly think that I'm going to try everything to try to be the best I can be. And I'm not going to like leave a stone unturned. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for me though. Cause like it might not work. Go ahead, Sue. You got to tell me what's up.
I'm trying not to make any Sueisms live with my face, right? All my Sueisms are normally like this, okay? So I'm like, no dirty jokes. I'm live.
She probably has somewhere in the vicinity of 7,000 dirty jokes from this conversation already that are just trying to spew out. But anyway, I'm not going to use the dictaphone. I'm going to use speech to text because I need to see it. So I'm gonna try. My experiment is my novella that I'm writing right. And Writing Violet says speech note apps for me. She puts punctuation. You can speak your punctuation into Dragon Dictation. So I was taking my son to go look at Nerf guns today because that's what we do. And we on the way, we were playing with Dragon Dictation, and he was like talking into it. And then I just randomly said period at the end of a sentence, and it put it in. He's like, oh, put it in. So we started playing with putting in punctuation. And it just takes a couple of minutes of trying, and all of a sudden you can do it. It's weird. It's like we figured it out sitting in my truck and at stoplights in like minutes. So I'm going to try it, and we're going to see what happens. I'm not promising anything's going to work, but I think I'm going to try to write my novella that I'm about to put out as a kind of a free reader magnet for my newsletter. It's called Collision. It's going to be a prequel to the Blind Spot series. And I think I'm going to try to do it in dictation. And you know what? If it sucks, I'll just rewrite it.
I wonder if they have an Aussie version of that.
Say it again?
I said, I wonder if they have an Aussie version of that program. Because we don't call them a period, we call them a full stop.
No, it responds to full stop as well, because Joanna Penn, Creative Penn, she's awesome. Go check out her blogs, her YouTube channel, her podcast. 100% she uses full stop. But it seems like it takes longer to say than period. How many syllables? Period. Period. I don't want to keep saying that.
Full stop.
Full stop. I think maybe full stop's faster. So I'm going with full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Richard says full stop, so I feel like we must rebel in some fashion.
We should say period if Richard says full stop.
But he also says aluminium, so you know.
Give him
Self.
Hannah, not
It is like
you.
that's the correct way to say that.
Don't believe in pineapple though, so.
You can transcribe faster than you dictate, Ava. That's amazing. You do editing as well, right, Ava? So she's probably spends a lot of time with words. She's probably got some crazy skills going on. And Richard, once again, with aluminium, just continue to assert your fallen empires. I was making some empire jokes the other day with another one of my. I have a ton of friends in the UK, which is not weird because we're all just one big family, really, if you think about it. We're just the rebel side, and so he's the criminal side
Yeah.
of the extended family. Okay, so we're gonna have to get to the second sprint soon. I'm avoiding it because I'm scared that I can't.
You're
end
just
it.
hoping you'll have an epiphany while you're talking. I see what you're doing.
Epiphany? What?
Epiphany?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish my story, and everybody else is too. We're gonna have another sprint. The topic is car graveyards. Not sure that I actually remember what we're writing about.
Car graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm getting. Okay, I gotta answer Don. He feels bad that he can't get back on, and do not
Aw.
do that, Don.
Yeah, Dawn, don't feel bad. I was afraid that I was going to have to hop off because of my internets. So.
It's working great now.
Oh, good.
Fine now.
All right.
Whew.
So I am. By the way, just on the dictation subject before we close that out, I will say that I'm going to edit at my desk in Scrivener in my office the way that I always do, because I'm still working really hard on editing. I think that's the skill set that I really need to master in this next phase of my writing journey, because I draft like a maniac. Like I can kick out stories all day. I don't know if they're good, but I can kick them out. So what I really want to do is get good at honing things and creating and just better finished products, because everything I've finished now, you know, I got to be perfectly honest. I've never been happy with one single thing ever. Not one thing, not ever. So, and I know you guys probably feel me on that, but matter of fact, I'm frightened with people that are happy with their finished product. I'm like, who are you and what are you doing?
I just got to put it out fast enough so I can't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm doing that. I'm definitely doing that because I it's just another. Oh, Sui, I'm with you, girl. What's up? It's just another barrier to putting your writing out. When you're like, oh, I'll put it out when it's perfect. It won't be. But cheers to all of us imperfect writers, and let's just put our stuff out and quit being fraidy cats.
Yes. Yeah.
This is not going to help me finish my story.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it.
Cool. I look like a monkey when I do that, didn't I? Wait. Are you doing it again?
All right, I'm
Do I
going to
look like a monkey?
screenshot that in the future for your author photo.
Oh yes. Is
Oh,
it too late to add it to the Twisted 10?
I swear I'm gonna take author photos and stop using a picture of me like 9 years ago that looks like my chin's that big. I swear I'm gonna do it. We're gonna go out in the desert and I'm gonna make my wife take pictures. Stop staring at me like that, Sue. You're scaring me.
No, I'm just trying to de-chin myself.
All you have to do is poke your head forward. Look, no neck, no chin.
All
right.
But I look like a mutant.
Perfect time to freeze.
Okay, just for the record, this is the most hammered I've ever been on a stream. So I'm just nervous. I was just nervous to meet Hannah, so that's okay.
You've known me for like a year.
I know, but okay. Before the stream is over, I have to ask you some questions about number 47 because it's on my mind. Obviously, I went back and read the damn thing again. That wasn't an accident. You've actually inspired me to start a thriller series, but I don't know when I'm going to do it. But we have to talk. Okay, we're going to get back to the sprints right now. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. I really want to set it for an hour and a half because I'm not doing well right now. Okay, here we go. I share my screen. Technical things. I can't believe I'm going to be writing in just a second. I can't even like operate the internet right now. All right, here we go. Timer. Also, I have to pee, but we're going to just go for it. And I said, I have to pee live on the internet. Here we go. Are you ready? Writers, are you ready? Go. Oh my God, Becky. All right.
It's time.
What's that face, Hannah?
We're good. We're good. Literally finished as it beeped.
Okay, how'd you guys do?
She's short.
That's fairly short. Not horribly short. I think it's like 400 words.
Mine's sitting at a whopping 267.
Oh wow, that's your shortest one yet, I think.
Yeah.
Mine's
Yeah.
16.
963 words in Richard's imagination. Welcome, Gary Thomas.
Hello.
I'm just going to share with everybody
424 for me.
Ava's 3-minute poem that she gifted us with. I feel like I should read it in Benjamin Milnes's voice, but
Yes.
it might be kind of mean.
Do it. You gotta.
But he would hold his hand up, right? Once upon a time on a roadway, left all alone, there was a graveyard full of bent metal and rusted chrome. The drivers sit stationary, their bodies just bone. The cars idle all their way home. Ooh, that's actually not bad.
That's good.
Feels like it really fits with what I've just written.
Oh, does it really?
Mm.
Okay, so what did you think about your flash that you've just completed? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly?
It's got lots of spelling mistakes.
Got lots of what?
Spelling mistakes.
Oh yeah, sure. But don't
Loads.
worry, that's par for the course. That is the absolute norm here at Don't Drink and Live.
Yep. Sounds about right.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw my email address up on the screen so that anybody that would like to can send me. And you guys, you don't have a choice. You have to send it to me right now.
Sent. I don't want to think about it. I just have to do it and get it over with.
That is really the way to go. I got to tell you. So we're going to do what we normally do is I'm going to kind of go back and forth between the hosts and the live guests or the people in the chat. I can't talk. The people in here and the people in there, we're going to take turns. Like one's going to go, then the other's going to go, which is funny. I'm from Arkansas. I actually probably talk like that if you get me tired enough. So one of my old Australian friends, he's in the Australian Army that I knew him in Iraq, like, gosh, I want to say like 16 years ago. He always called me a SEPO, septic tank yank, because I had a little bit of a country accent. So please send your flash on in to kentshawn@gmail.com. Oh, wow. It's already, people are sending stuff in. And please give me permission to read it. Some of you guys, every time I'm getting like 10 pieces of flash fiction, they're like, don't read it live. Let's read it live. Let everybody see the fruits of your labor and your writerly awesomeness and all the other private parts that you don't normally show in public. All right. So, who wants to go first? Before we start reading stories, I'm going to have to take a quick bathroom break. You guys talk amongst yourselves for just a second. I'll be right back.
You know, when you need to go, you got to go. I'm so sorry. My dog has been a little bit of a hellion, so if you see me looking around, it's because I'm expecting him to be bad, but he's playing by himself, and it seems too good to be true.
No. How's he getting on?
He's doing really well. He's gaining weight, and his coat's less dirty. He's good. We adopted him from like a hoarding situation, so had a little bit of healing, but he's fine. He's gonna be big. It's great.
Yay.
So Richard said he sent his in. Am I sounding normal again? Again, I can't tell unless I pull up YouTube, and I think when I do that, my internet's really bad right now. I don't know what's going on.
No, you sound fine.
Oh, cool. Richard emailed his in, and he said, if I showed you my fruits, I'd get arrested, mainly as it ends up on a pizza. Richard, you know what I'm going to say, right? Let's all say it at the same time. Get out. Oh, you have a puppy too.
This is Bucky. This is Bucky. His brother's name is Captain. It's Captain.
Yeah.
Look at
Captain
this.
America.
He is a Rottweiler pug mix, and yes, that's possible.
That seems wrong on so many levels.
When we got him, he was he could fit like in your hand, and now he's almost 40 pounds, and he's the smaller of the brothers.
How
Okay.
old is he?
Less than 6 months. 5 months. My wife's screaming at me. And he made an appearance. I wanted him to look into the camera, but he just won't. Oh, there he is.
It's like, hi, best friend.
And his tongue is approximately 9.5 feet long. Okay. Who's going to go first? Did you guys decide while I was gone?
Well, Suey, do you have to be somewhere? Should you?
She's like, forget the forget the baby shower. Babies don't even need showers. Why would they be dirty? It's just weird. I don't even know why they call it that. All right.
Why do that?
Buck. All right. Bucky is terrible on camera, apparently. Trying to
He's
show his face.
shy.
He keeps turning away wherever a picture that doesn't look at you wherever you are in the room. All right. Here we go, Buck. You can go.
Be free.
Bye, Bucky. Okay. It's time to read some stories. I'm freaking excited. And now I feel like I can really start drinking because I don't have to write anymore.
I did a refill. I put my Jell-O in whiskey and Sprite. So things are going great over here. It's a whole thing happening.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, cats and dogs of all ages. The first story will be, I feel like I should ask you, but I'm just going to make you go. All right, here we go. I'm going to the email. I'm getting a story. Oh, wow. There's 7 stories already in my inbox.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go with the audience first. And I'm going to go with Laura Nettles. She did a great job last time.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to see what she did this time. And it's really intimidating the fact that I do not see any errors in this text. Okay.
How?
I know, right? Doesn't even make sense. All right, Laura Nettles, do you have a host that you would prefer to read your story?
She says, and then Suey commented that her internet is being poo. I understand, girl. I get it.
Internet is often poo. All right, I'm going to copy and paste this onto a Word document, and we're going to go. Dude, I almost just accidentally erased my own flash. That would have been bad.
She said, Kent, you may read the monstrosity.
Oh, I am honored, Laura, and I will be happy to read it for you as soon as I double space it because.
And David said, if I wasn't burping a baby, I would have wrote something. Shoot.
He literally has a brand new baby, so we're going to have to cut.
You got a fresh one.
We'll give him this one.
Okay. Here we go. I am going to share my screen. Am I already sharing? What's going on here? And I'm going to read this story. I'm not reading every story. One of these, I can't remember which stream it was. One of these streams, I had to read like almost every story. By the end of it, I couldn't talk. All right, here we go. Laura Nettles, Mangled Graveyard. You can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. I have to get like serious when I do this. I have to get up close to the microphone. You know what I'm saying? All right. Take this off the screen because I'm covering Hannah's beautiful face. Here we go. Mangled Graveyard by Laura Nettles. The crunch of metal rings in my ears. It's incessant and deep, reverberating through my chest. Where am I? My eyelids peel open. The darkness does not dissipate except for a long, horizontal sliver by my head. The peaking light is harsh, illuminating a seeping fog entering my enclosure, threatening to suffocate me. My lungs expand, yet the air entering them are filled with something solid, filtered through something solid on my face. I rub my mouth against my bare shoulder and feel damp fabric. My nostrils let me know it's wet with blood. I'm gagged and bound, my hands behind my back twisting in the zip ties. This one is next. Line it up for demolition. A gruff voice outside my solid enclosure yells as they slap their hand on the solid roofing above me. No one's going to want to buy this clunker, and the parts are too old. Not even worth the scrap metal. Hard in my throat, I scream, but the people outside take no notice over the din of crumpling metal, the smashing of cars. I'm in a trunk. My mind goes into overdrive, trying to collect the last things that happened to me. It comes in whirls of color, smears of scents, and a babbling of dialogue. I'd been kidnapped and slipped into a coma from a concussion. They must have thought me dead or unusable. The ground shudders and lifts. No, the car is being lifted. My stomach heaves with the vertigo as the whole vehicle twists and keels midair. I scream with all my might. We descend with a thunk, but keep moving steadily forward. The lid of the trunk pops on impact with a conveyor belt, and the world opens up. Stacks of rusted out bodies of cars loom engulfed in the nighttime fog, lit by harsh streetlights dying at orange. The slamming of the metal being dumped rattles my teeth despite the gag. Smash. I'm next. Struggling to my knees, I maneuver my bound feet to try and get some traction to escape this prison. The car falls out from under me. I'm a split second behind it. The lid of the trunk slams down over top of me once more, my coffin. Shrieks of twisted metal engulf me, my own tormented cries merging with the death throes of the car. The car runs red.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah, that was fun.
Love that.
That was really good.
Oh.
Well, I'm not reading mine now.
I felt like I knew how it was going to end, but I was still surprised by it. Like, you have such strong language, the like very pointed words that you use. Like, I think Richard and I were freaking out over the title. I love the word mangled. It just, it evokes
I have
so
that
many
word in my
things.
story too. I have the word mangled in my story, and now it's bothering me.
I don't. I wish I did. Oh,
Won't
man.
bother me after 2 more drinks.
Laura, like, you can write dark. If I remember right, your last one was pretty gruesome too, the Cinderella one, right?
There's something about doing this as a group. Everybody wants to write like killers and awful stuff.
Like, oh, it's fine if everyone else is doing it. It's weird if you're writing this by yourself.
True.
Hannah, you have no room to talk. You wrote number 47.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if my house was burning down in the last chapter of number 47, I'd be like, I need to cover my head so my head doesn't catch on fire until I finish the thing. I wouldn't have like, I don't want to give it away because I've already recorded, like, I have a couple of jokes about that in the video I recorded about Hannah's book. But seriously, you cannot stop reading on that. I don't even know what to say. I honestly feel like if I was being robbed, I would tell them to rob me quieter so I could finish the book.
I'll take it.
All right, let's do another story. I have been putting Bethany last every time, so I'm going to put Bethany up front this time.
Great.
That way you can get the pressure off you and go back to enjoying your slushy or whatever that is.
Yeah, this is I'm not going to lie, it's a mess, but we're working with it, okay? It's fine. It's kind of like my Flash. A little bit of a mess, but I think we got it together, sort of. I don't know. I've had enough where it's like, it's words on a page. That's a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to double space this for you so it's not freaking impossible to read. I say that every time, don't I?
Yes. I should just start sending it to you double spaced, but I don't.
You guys need to talk more so that I don't feel like I have to fill every space by running my mouth.
We can just talk about Hannah's book more and make her feel even more awkward. I read it and I didn't know you super well. I read it, I don't know, 8 months ago or something like that. And it was just like, wow. I didn't know what to expect. And I was very surprised. And it's such a short book too. I don't understand how you got so much into such a short book.
It is short. Yeah. The next one's longer.
I remember when you read that, Bethany, you messaged me and you said, I read Hannah's book. And then, like, you just left it there. I'm like, and? And it's like, you're like, it surprised me. And I'm like, good, bad, scary, this, that. She goes, murdery.
Motory.
It's a good way of describing it.
Motory.
Bethany, the one and only Beth.
You muted yourself, so was anything important said at the end of that?
I have accidentally clicked every button on this little dashboard here today. I apologize. Please go ahead, Bethany Votaw, hobbies, send.
Cool. If my internet dies, you can just pick up where I left off. Okay. Hobbies. He used to drive tow trucks. He'd careen down those long, lonely roads from county to county, picking up vehicles, big and small. He kept a lot of them, too. When the owner's car was beyond repair, he'd take it from their hands and put it in his 33-acre lot, straight into the car graveyard. He always planned to do something with them, just never got around to it. Everyone has projects like that. Unfinished knitted scarves, unfinished paintings, unfinished relationships, degrees, you name it. He used the graveyard more for discarded and unused parts now, and they blended in among the skeletons of cars and rusted truck frames. But he got old, and the company phased him out. Then he took a job driving cattle, and when he took one too many off the top, they let him go. At least his freezer was full. So he took to driving smaller rigs with smaller cargo. He missed the long drives, the lonely roads, beat the honking of minivans, late to soccer practice, and the middle fingers of teenage drivers who think they know everything.
So
that's not the end.
Can we scroll?
I'm so sorry.
I can
That was awful. I apologize. Keep going.
He missed the long drives and the lonely roads, beat the honking of minivans, late to soccer practice, and the middle finger of teenage drivers who think they know everything. But on the day of his retirement, instead of dropping off his load, he drove it straight home, and he had his little shop all set up behind the barn. This load, it had lots of useful parts. He could put what he didn't use or want in the graveyard. It was his bonus, he told himself. He deserved to take them home. And when he turned that school bus into the long driveway, his mouth began to water and his stomach rumbled.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Beth.
It's okay. It's okay. It feels like kind of a cheap ending. I don't know. But that's where my mind went, so.
I love that that's where your mind went.
Well, and then it's not to defend the story, but if you reread it, you can kind of see the threads of what he was doing the whole time about how he took the cars from people, not from. So I put some words in there. Maybe I had too much.
Well,
to drink, but
I'm kind of stunned and horrified because you're awfully close to what I wrote about too. So, and also was stunned every single time you read the word load. Sui just about jumped out of her chair and made a face. So,
oh, Sui.
So when you started writing this one, Bethany, what was your? Did you stick with the same plan? Did what you start with, what you finished with?
I wanted the setting of the graveyard because graveyard has such a sinister connotation. So I was what if it's actually a graveyard, but everyone just calls it the car graveyard because there's cars there. But this is also where he hides, the parts that he doesn't use. And I always felt unsettled by tow truck drivers and bus drivers. So it just felt like they should be one and the same. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually surprised how polished that sounded that fast. This is probably the shortest one you've done, and in a way, I kind of felt like it was the most finished story.
It felt like it had more of a beginning and middle and end, and I know the ending was a little bit more of a gotcha ending, but it's one of those stories where if you reread it, you'd kind of be able to pick up threads of some hints of what's going on. Which I love stories like that where you're okay, where are you going with this? And at the end you get it and then you can reread it with new eyes. I love that. And I also really like microfiction. I think it's fun. It's hard. And this one just kind of worked out to be that way.
I think it's really cool.
Thanks.
All right. We're going to move on. We're going to go with Sue's story next. It's called Jimmy's Junk. Would you like to read it, Sue, or are you going to read it for us? Hello?
Hold on. I forgot to turn my mic on. Okay, I got it.
Dead air, dead air. All right, here we go.
Dead air. Jimmy's junk. I'll read it.
Jimmy Junk, or Jimmy's Junk,
Ready?
right?
Are we good? Yeah. Jimmy's
Okay,
junk.
I'm double spacing it for you real quick.
I'm not looking at the screen. Oh, I can read it off your screen, maybe.
Okay, I can't wait to hear this one. Sue has
I'm a
always
few
put out some solid flash in these things, and I'm looking forward to it. Here we go. Share screen. I'm so bad at sharing screen, like I get nervous every time I do this. Okay. Let's see if that's the right one. Oh, we got it. I won't forget to scroll this time, I promise. All right, take it away, Sue.
Jimmy's junk. Hey, cool. My pop had one of these. Caleb climbed aboard the rusting 1965 red soft top Impala. Man, this baby's a beast. I bet we could get this if we had a few more bucks. Nah, man, Jimmy doesn't like kids hanging around his junk. They are collectibles, he reckons. I don't know, man. Surely he would want the money. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, for sure. I reckon we'll talk to Nico. He might be able to help us out, make a few quick bucks. Nico is Johnny's older brother. He'd been in juvie. He knows how to get stuff, especially money. What's up, Nico? We need to make a few bucks and quick. There's an old Impala down at the lot, and I just have to have it. Yo. All right, Caleb. I reckon I can help you out on that. But, you got to do something for me first. Jimmy's junk, right up in the shed, there's a gun hidden in the old oil drum. I used it in the shootout in '89. That's what I got locked up for. The cops could never find it. I need that gun, Caleb. You get it? I'll get you that car. Caleb and Johnny agreed. That was too easy. We'll come back tonight when no one can see. The boys climbed over the junkyard fence. Their flashlights flickered across broken glass and shimmering mirrors. Hey, man, Jimmy sure does have some cool junk in here, said Johnny. Ha ha ha. I don't want to see all of Jimmy's junk, man. Just the Impala and that gun. They crept silently towards the shed. No one knows if Jimmy actually was there or not, and they weren't going to take the chance. They lifted the lid off the barrel and found the gun wrapped in an old shirt covered in dried blood. The light in the shed flickered, and the floorboards moaned as if under the weight of a fully grown man. It was only then that they realized that the door of the shed was open. They ran, their footsteps thumping hard on the tin of the cars. Johnny put a huge dent in the hood of an old caddy. The man was chasing them. Damn, he was fast for an old guy with one leg. Just as they reached the fence and shimmied up the chain wire, Ralph, the giant black dog, took a bite out of Caleb's hind quarters. The gun slipped from his pocket, and bang, the gun went off.
And that's what you get when you mess around in a junkyard. I love that you pulled the junkyard dog in there, by the way, because I missed that theme or that idea totally off of this. That should have been a great entry point into everything. Good job, Sue.
Thank you.
That was really good fun. I like that.
I do like the junkyard dog theme. How did we miss that?
Yeah. Duh.
I want to use the word authentic when I talk about Sue's writing. It always seems really unforced and natural and good and kind of slightly intimidating. So,
Goody.
I really like how your stuff it really does roll off the tongue, Sue. Honestly, I really enjoyed that.
You read it better than me, though. A lot better than me.
Not today. I don't. I cannot get I can't even speak right now. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I'm a few deep too. I'm a few deep.
Yeah, I've overdone it maybe just a little bit here because I'm nervous about Palmer. But anyway, gosh, I constantly feel like we're getting like super lucky that everybody's stories don't suck. Writing in 2 10-minute sprints and then reading them with no editing. I'm gonna break that paradigm today by sucking. But before I get to me sucking, I think we're gonna go to the audience and read Richard Holiday's story, which, as usual, is really freaking long.
5,000 words long.
Okay, Richard Holiday, who do you want to read your story? Tell us, please. The name of his story is Old Banger, which I assume means that he's doing things he shouldn't do with octogenarians.
Sticking with the theme, I guess.
Richard
Fontana. Ha-ha.
Oh, it's so long.
Oh, I'm so glad it's not me.
Dang it.
All right, here we go. Richard Holiday, Old Banger.
I think I'm worse at reading than writing, by the way, so.
All right, I'm going to share screen. I'm going to double space this for you, Hannah, so that it's as easy to read as I can make it. Oh, he already did. Good for him. All right, here we go. Sharing the screen. Old Banger.
Old Banger by Richard Holiday. Looking up at the glooming grey wall, the thought crossed his mind like a flash of lightning. His eyes caught the gentle mist of rain that filled the urban sky. Maybe this night he'd get in. Maybe, unlike all the others, he'd get in and find what they were all looking for. Of course, climbing the wall was the easy way. Everyone and his dog had tried that. Like scaling the Berlin Wall, on the other side was just hurt and pain, possibly even death. Those that had made it up the impenetrable brick facade, over the rounded top, and somehow past the razor wire that hung with shreds of clothes, at least hopefully clothes, and just clothes, definitely no shreds of flesh. They'd all wished they hadn't. Walking away with an air of nonchalance, it was like the wall around the yard was completely anonymous. Nobody would know the wiser, except he did. He was wiser. Ducking into the alleyway that ran perpendicular to the cold, gritty street, he followed the wall. It stretched wherever he went, led by the alleyway. The Berlin Wall turned into the Great Wall of China. But the prize that he'd been told on all those sketchy message boards, those weird WhatsApp groups that seemed to appear and disappear like transient snow, it was worth a considerable risk. On the other side of the wall, a whimpering, a sniffing sound. It tracked him down the alley, just a few steps behind. Then the alley stopped, dead with blackness. His coat rustled, the polyester rubbing. It made a subtle noise that seemed like a great din in the darkness and cold, the absolute concentration of night. Not even the owls or the traffic noise ventured here. Out of the pocket, he pulled a torch. Why Americans called it a flashlight, he'd never get. It only flashed when the batteries were dying. The aluminum body was cold to the touch, sapping heat from his fingertips. But it did the job, erupting with a wispy disk of light that gave just enough to penetrate the palisade of plant matter. Beyond that, rotten and decaying, a portal of wood in the ocean of brick. He reached for the latch, pushing down with the lightest of touches. One of his hands held the torch. It trembled. A wind was whipping down the alleyway. A mechanism was moving, not a complex one, but something metal and formed by the hands of men who'd likely died a long time ago. With his torch hand, he brushed the fronds of foliage away. There was a click, slight but resolute. The gate opened very slowly at the push of the handle. Darkness came on the other side. What he'd seen had been accurate. It didn't just open out into the corner of the yard. It had been forgotten about too. The gate closed behind him. It was still just as dark, but the incomplete blackness of the natural night filtered from above. He found he was perched behind the rotting carcass of a decrepit Austin Metro. Something in the ruins of the car stunk. He didn't know what was worse, the indignity of the stench or the fact that it came from the ruins of a truly risible automobile. One saving grace, however, was that it gave a good amount of cover from the imposing building that stood sentinel in the opposite corner of the yard while allowing just enough vantage. He snuck from behind the ruined Metro, darting across behind another pile of cars, equally crummy, family saloons, hatchbacks, estates, something Americans called a station wagon. He laughed, but it wasn't here. However, something else was. He heard the hiss of breath and the patter of feet. He held himself tight to the body of the car. The silhouette of the grisly dog snuck past. It didn't turn. That was Bonnie, all right. It's what they feared the most. A mostly feral, mangy mutt that struck fear into an explorer, or a purloiner's eyes. Maybe the scent of stale oil and WD-40 masked his own organic odor. He began to search the wrecks, keeping a careful eye on the surroundings. Bonnie was a sly and stealthy creature. Her eyes, some had said, lit up like brake lights, right in your face before a filthy claw swung round like a flailing windscreen wiper, taking a chunk of your flesh off like hunks of rubber on an exploding tire. But it wasn't there. Not in all these ordinary wrecks, anyway. Taking a careful glance, he saw some more premium motors nearer to the front of the yard, parked up in neat rows, not ramshackle piles of rotting steel. Dare he close in on those shining examples of engineering? He hesitated, his head telling him no, but his heart racing with a mixture of excitement and wanting to know if this had all been a waste of time led him forwards. He stepped through a muddy puddle up to the first car, a Jaguar. The boot lid button called in the moonlight seductively. It wanted to be pressed. It called his finger forward. He dug around, pulling out his digit. It pressed through the air. Something in him twigged his mind. No, stop. Don't do it. But it was too late as the boot lid sprung open with a thwack that was basically like setting off a shotgun. A cavalcade of floodlights lit in an instant. The boot contained bones. The clothes, those were Slippy's. Oh my God. He turned. Bonnie was the least of his worries, though she was there, roaring. Something pulled him in, right into the trunk of the Jaguar, and it slammed closed. The scrabbling quickly died away, the pool of oil under the car being diluted by blood. Ooh.
I think that's my favorite piece of Richard's Flash yet.
Creepy.
That was cool.
Seriously, I think that one's my favorite because it like went somewhere quick. And Richard is another guy that has pretty solid powers of description, which occasionally run away with him. But I thought that really got to the point. So good job, Richard. I liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Richard, if you can tell us really quick, if you're still in the chat, what were you thinking when you started that? Did you kind of start on the same path and end where you thought you were going to end, or did it kind of develop as you went? I really like to know stuff like that because for me, I always start things and then I end up completely somewhere other than where I planned. I don't know if that happens to you guys. Generally speaking, all you guys, do you start and end where you plan? I would love to hear what you guys have to say.
With flash fiction, anything goes. With my longer stuff, yes, I have a plan.
How about you, Hannah?
A mixture. Number 47, I knew the opening scene, and that was literally it. One Road In, I knew the end, but not how to get there.
So
I had Jimmy's junk. That's literally it. That's all I had.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in and do mine real quick because it's gonna be really fast for once, and I'm actually really interested to see how it comes off because I honestly don't remember at this point what I wrote. Perfectly honestly, I have no idea what I wrote, and I'm kind of curious to see. Like I keep looking back and going, I see a name, and I don't remember even writing the name. So I'm gonna go ahead and do mine right now before liquor makes me incapable of actually doing it. And here we go. I don't have a name for it, so it's just going to be called The Junkyard. We're just going to go with that. Here we go. I don't even know if that's my story. I'm just going to click on it and see if that's it. There it is. Thanks for indulging me, Mr. Tavar. I know it's late, Harrison said, putting his badge back on his belt, despairing at the gut that barred the way. Not at all. My home is adjacent to the yard. Mr. Tavar unlocked the heavy padlock, his gnarled hands trembling, the key ring doing a frenetic dance. It's a cold case, really, but I just can't let it go. First time a real-life detective wanted in here. Exciting for an old fart like me. Tavar threw the gate back and led the way into the yard. The desiccated corpses of Buicks and Toyotas were stacked in untidy heaps, making rust and steel ravines that cast deep shadows over the gravel lot. That's a hell of a set of wheels you got, Detective. Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. Harrison followed the stooped old man in his gray flannel and John Deere cap. He loved his Mustang. She was on her last legs. The 70s were long gone, just like the victims of the man he never caught. It's the Mangler, right? You think a car will lead you to him after all this time? Tavar said. Not really. It's my gut. Won't let it go. Guys like the Mangler, they keep trophies. That's what the shrinks say. Ears, noses, Tavar chuckled. All the same, really. Why keep them? Come on. The car's in the back. A rare one now, an AMC Gremlin. It's about a connection. They want something to relive the moment again and again. Killing is the only way they feel. If they killed every day, they get locked in a cage before they even got started. Here it is, AMC Gremlin, lime green. This guy was not shy. Harrison tugged on gloves. There would be no evidence. It'd been too long, but he was a pro. He leaned over the chipped paint of the hatchback. Several layers of paint, all crazy colors. The owner had painted it 6 times before he died. Fuck! He slapped his ass at a sharp pain, like a hornet's sting. His vision blurred and he pitched forward, forehead smacking the bumper as he crumpled to the ground. Tavar loomed over him. Ears and noses. Drops of blood. They're a dime a dozen. What a man drives, that's how you remember them. He bent over Harrison and plucked the keys from his front pocket. You can always tell a man's taste by what he drives. And you, sir, will be delicious.
Oh,
Yeah, that was cool.
we went very similar. I'm surprised yet not.
Well, I kind of felt like I was a little bit cheating off on my last piece of Flash, but I just thought it was too rich because I thought of like, what, do you remember the TV show Dexter?
Yeah, it reminded me of that.
So he collected little slides of blood, which is very personal. I mean, blood is very personal, but you can't see it. But I know in my community, in the military community, like people are like, what you drive, man? What you drive? You know, like a lot of people are, you know, I got a big truck with lights on it. It's a lifted truck and stuff. And that's what you are, right? You got a big truck. Which always seemed kind of silly to me in a way, but I thought I would kind of play off of that. Like, what would a serial killer, a different kind of serial killer, like maybe what would he collect to remember his victims? And maybe this guy's a car fanatic, and that's what he thought was the most telling thing about their personality. I also thought that he ate them, but I didn't want to dive into that too much.
That's fair. Sometimes less is more. Leave it to the reader.
Okay. Let's move on here. I have some more stories, and we've got the time to read them, so let's do it. All right. There's somebody named Hannah Palmer sent me a story. I think we should probably do that one.
There are so many spelling mistakes in this thing.
I mean, mine was just a solid thing of blue and red squiggly lines. Why are you worried?
Yep.
All right. I'm popping you up onto a Word document, and then I'm going to put you on the screen. You guys are not talkative today. I just wanted to tell you that. You're all just sitting there completely silent, waiting for your turn.
I think I'm just so worried about my internet. I don't want to be like.
You're perfect.
Okay,
It's perfect for a while.
Okay, cool. I don't know why. I can talk all day long. Let me tell you. Don't get me started.
Sorry, trying to fill the silence. All right, here we go. Hannah Palmer. No, I've heard that name somewhere before.
Someone.
Somewhere out there. What was the name of that movie? Okay, that's some Disney movie. All right, here we go. Hannah Palmer.
Mine doesn't have a name, so yep.
We'll forgive you.
Cool, thanks. Are we there yet? Are we where? The young mum replied. There. And where would there be exactly? You know what I mean. The conversation trailed, a young boy tugging at his mother's skirt, gripping the loose summer fabric between delicate pink fingers. The words drifted off in the dusty garage air. There could have been more words, but really there was no more time. The time for words had passed. Where's Dad? You know where Dad is. No, I don't. How could a boy so young have such a formal way of speaking? Where did he pick that up? The mother thought. She didn't care, not really. She was over caring, over trying to force herself to care for this child that was part of her, but was not a part of who she wanted to be, not a part of what she had planned. Get in the car, she said, turning to look down at the boy she created 5 years earlier. He was still small, smaller than the other boys in his class. His slight shoulders sloped gently into his lean torso, his tiny arms ending in dainty hands. He looked up at her with glassy eyes. I don't want to, he mumbled, not taking his eyes from hers. I won't. She knelt down beside him, the hem of her skirt trailing on the dirty concrete floor. Sweat laced her forehead, clung to her top lip, suffocating. She was flustered. She was panicked. She could not panic. She held out her arms for her boy to come to her, but he wouldn't budge. What kind of child doesn't want a hug from his mum? She whispered, tears stinging the top lip of her eyes. He looked over at her, scuffing the toes of his shoes into the ground. This one, he said, his voice cracking with the threat of tears. You just need to do what I say, she said, just one more time, just so we can all be together. He listened then, relented as his mum lifted him from the floor and held him close. His arms looped around her neck, fingers interlacing and gripping like a baby monkey does to its mother. Come on now, she said, wriggling free and holding him out in front of her. He dropped to the ground, walking round to his side of the car. Strap yourself in. The boy shuffled into the back of the car next to his baby sister. The black cord of the seatbelt stretched out in front of him, clipping into the socket with a satisfying clunk. Why is Daisy asleep? She was tired, his mum answered, closing the driver's side door and edging down the window. But it's not time for sleeping. His mother didn't answer. She held one hand on the steering wheel, the other gripping an edge of rubber tube and pulling it through the tight gap in the window. Why is Dad asleep? He's just napping, okay? His mum turned to face him, a hand on his bony knee. Close your eyes for me. The boy did as he was told, closed his eyes, listened as a hissing filled the car. His eyelids filled with lead, dragging themselves down across his eyes as he watched the back of his mum's head lull against her chest. Her hand slipped from the steering wheel, thudding into her lap. It's not time for sleeping, he whispered. He wiggled his toes, the sensation dissipating and lifting freely from his tiny body. His eyes closed, still vaguely aware of the hissing from his mother's side of the car. Are we there yet? He asked once more, as his head dropped heavily against his chest.
That was awesome. The name of
and I'm not going to kill my family.
Hannah, the name of that story is Are We There Yet?
Are we there yet? Oh, that was a crap film, wasn't it?
I don't know. I never heard of it.
Hannah, oh my
That was
gosh.
great. That was a beautiful story.
We're all
By
dark.
beautiful, I mean horrible and awful in all the great ways. So I'm going to ask you the same question I've asked everybody today. Starting out, same place you thought you were going, or that idea from the beginning?
Yeah, that idea from the beginning.
Right on.
Mausoleum rather than graveyard.
So it's interesting. I don't know what it is about these things that bring out the darkness in everybody. I mean, Sui had a guy get his butt bit off by a dog. I did a potentially cannibal serial killer collecting cars as trophies. Hannah did murder-suicide. And Bethany and me were awfully close in our ideas there. That was so like, what is it that brings the? I don't always write dark, awful things. What is it about being on the spot? Is it easier to write dark stuff? What do you guys think?
I definitely find it easier.
I think part of it is with Flash, we want a reaction, so it's easier to go dark and get a reaction.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point. So this comment by Colin Clark freaks me out. Yep, murder-suicide.
Very nonchalant.
It's kind of like, yep, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. Yep. No big deal.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think I've got another story, actually. I'm not totally sure. Oh, shit. Or the heart. I got another story. We're going to have to do another one.
Richard says Kent needs to write a romance.
I actually wouldn't mind doing that. I'm just going to admit right here that not all of her books, but I'm actually kind of a fan of Karen Marie Moaning. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of her. She wrote a bunch of kind of fairy romance books, although occasionally her steamier scenes make me really uncomfortable reading them. But I can read some romance here and there. I like love stories. My favorite love story of all time is still Pride and Prejudice. I think it's the greatest. It's like it's almost like the blueprint for romance to me. But I'm not against reading some romance. The only thing I can't get into is straight erotica. Like, I just can't make myself read that stuff. I get uncomfortable. Hannah's sitting there going, I read 700 of those books per week. No.
Audiobook.
I love
No.
oh my gosh.
All right. We're gonna do Orla Hart. Orla, do you have someone that you would like to read your story? Go ahead.
And while she answers that, Colin said, I think we all need to write romance next time on this flash fiction.
Let's do it. Have a romance flash fiction.
Oh.
He gripped her.
Oh gosh, Richard said, don't drink in live smut special.
Yes.
Hey,
I wouldn't read
my
anyone's
daughter watches this stuff, so I need to be a little cautious about what I do and don't do. People are like, people actually that know me are like, you're pretty tame on the internet. I'm like, my daughter watches this, man. She said anyone can read it. I'm picking Hannah because Hannah has a lovely reading voice.
She does. She's quite the narrator.
I'm not doing it in an Irish accent though. I'd love to try.
I'm having trouble pulling your thing up here, Orla. Do I need permission to access it or something? Figure that out. Because right now, I can't pull it up. Send me access, woman. Send it to me. He gripped her access in his sweaty palms. I don't know.
That was an Irish accent.
I don't know.
Suey is losing it.
I wrote, okay.
Suey's gone.
Bethany's read my I have a straight sex scene in my book Charged, which only 3 people in the world read. Bethany's one of them. And even as I'm writing it, I get incredibly embarrassed. I don't know what it is. I shouldn't be. Why should I be?
It wasn't. No, it was fine. Richard has a really naughty one in what is it? The Landlady.
Oh yeah.
Very naughty.
That's very naughty.
I shudder. Okay, I've got it. I have Orla's-ness. I have Orla-ness. All right. Read by the vivacious, the lovely, the unusually good speaking voice, Hannah Palmer. Here we go. Can you say vivacious? Is that even a compliment?
I don't know.
What is that word? Don't know. All right, I'm going to double space this for you, Hannah, because I don't want you to go blind. I don't know why I have to tell everybody that every time. I could probably just do it. Shut up. Here we go. Share the screen. Hannah Palmer. I keep saying your name as if people can't remember who you are. It's okay. It's not weird.
That sounds better in an American accent.
Here we go.
Graveyard Visit by Orla Hart. I winced as I walked through the tall chain-linked fence of the car graveyard. The sound of metal squealing drove right into my brain, causing even more discomfort. John led me firmly by the arm to ensure I did not clumsily stumble over any of the bits of metal debris strewn over the yard, but I couldn't help but drag my feet. I wanted to see it for myself, but also I didn't. It was the middle of the day and the graveyard was alive with activity. An elderly mechanic was shouting into his cell phone as forklifts beeped, deftly manoeuvring around the metal carcasses. The howling October wind carried the unfamiliar noises around us. John Baxter? The man's loud voice broke my trance, and I looked in the general direction where it travelled. Yes, we're here, about the Nissan? His voice broke a bit, betraying the confidence he had been showing me on our walk. An older gentleman approached us, shuffling forward from the decrepit porter cabin. I assumed served as an office. Oh, my bad. The decrepit porter cabin, I assumed, served as an office. The smell of oil and grease was palpable from the mustiness of his clothes, and I forced myself not to gag. Will we go inside the office? The old man pulled on the porter cabin door. I'll wait out here, I said. John nodded and followed the man inside. As I waited for the business to be done, I stared around the yard. dozens of vehicles stacked up on bare metal rims. Some hoods open as if saluting the midday sun, others with doors open wide and stripped bare. Others had their mechanical guts hanging out, ready to be picked apart by salvage vultures. Then I saw it, the china blue Nissan Micra. Its distinctive colour glimmered cheerfully in the sunlight. The driver's side was completely crushed. I could see where the firefighters had to cut through the metal. I felt my heart heave and a cold film cover my hands as I wrung them in my hands, wishing John would hurry. A few moments later, John appeared with a grease-smudged box of Lisa's personal items. I finally broke and sobbed when I spotted the crochet blanket I had crafted her last Christmas. This would not be the only graveyard I would be visiting this week.
Damn.
Voila.
Nice
Oh,
job.
that was dark.
That was heavy.
That was.
I feel like we can't do flash fiction without being awful
Yeah.
in some horrible emotional way. Probably a good thing though, because like you don't go read books or stories so that you can feel like you always feel.
No. I especially liked the descriptions of the mechanical guts in that one. That was fun.
I did too. Okay.
Oh, I'm still thinking
Anybody
about
else got any flash you want us to read? Send it in now. I think I've hit everybody that gave me permission once again. You lurkers, man, you got to stop this. You got to bring yourself out into the light. I appreciate you sending me the stories. I don't really know what you want me to do with them if I can't read them online. So it's awesome, though. I really
baby
appreciate
steps. Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying baby steps. Sometimes you just got to hit that send button, and then next time it'll be a send and an okay button.
I don't believe in baby steps. I believe in diving headfirst into whatever the heck it is that you want to do. That being said, I'm now going to direct some questions directly to Hannah Palmer and make her incredibly uncomfortable because I've wanted to talk to her about some things for a very long while. I already have gotten on Victoria Wren's case in the stream yesterday because she refused to come on to my live stream and do this with us because she said she was anxious, which is weird because I think she's freaking brilliant. And Hannah, I think you're freaking brilliant. So I'm going to ask you some questions, not just about your story, but about how it felt to put your first book out, because I think you kind of did it blind in a little bit of a way, like without a lot of prior experience. So can you tell me what made you decide to put your book out into the world, and like what was that process like?
I don't really remember having like a conversation with myself to say I'm going to write a book. I just sort of did it. I had the idea in our local coffee shop because this crazy lady, honestly, if she ever works at Who I Am, I'm done. She comes in, it was not the last year, but she'd like sit at this table, the same table she always sat at, and she would arrange, like in typical, stereotypical OCD fashion, arrange everything out and like square it up and look over her shoulder. And she was really like nervous. And I just decided I wanted to write what I thought her story was. I hope it's not her story, but you know.
I do too.
Me too. Yeah, that would be awful.
She's just wandering around my hometown, like, hope her name's not Sarah. Yeah, and I just wrote it, and then it was really long. It feels like a book. I quite like Gillian Flynn. I think I'd read Gone Girl maybe like a couple of years before, and Misery is one of my all-time favorite books.
Same.
So I don't know, thought, why not? Just did it. But I did do it quite backwards. I was totally blind. I didn't have any marketing experience. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't use Instagram. I had nothing. So I published it and then did everything backwards.
I mean, I barely think YouTube or Instagram are marketing, but I don't think you should worry about that. But the fact of the matter is, like, I kind of want to know, like, what's your history as a writer before that? Because it's not likely that you produced something like that out of nowhere. I mean, you had to have experience at writing.
I wrote a short story. That was the first thing I wrote. A short story for a competition whilst I was at uni, so 2013. And I won the competition. I was like, oh shit, okay, I can write, sure. And then I didn't do it for ages because I was at uni. I was like, I want to focus on doing this. So I finished uni, and then it wasn't until 2018 that I wrote again.
Okay.
So I've written quite a bit of nonfiction. I've had like R&D jobs, so writing like papers and white papers and stuff. Yeah, not as fun.
I don't know if that's the same thing because
No, it's not. Not really. The
okay, so
research side definitely helped, but not
so
writing.
we're talking about like a limited experience writing that you turned out that kind of product.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to start a publishing company and sign you right now because like the sky's the freaking limit. So I want to talk about a couple of specific aspects of your story, if you don't mind. And if you do mind, I still am going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to talk about descriptions. You have a way of subdividing the world into a sensory experience that's kind of a rare and unusual talent. Like you I can feel things, smell things, taste things, sometimes in the same moment, sometimes in the same sentence. And I know that this is probably your greatest strength, and simultaneously what you have said on your channel is a weakness as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something in your life that comes from, or is it your preference in reading that creates that? Like where does that come from?
I don't really know. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I think a lot of the stuff I read is probably quite sensory. So I'm really into, she's not that well known, but there's an author called Kate Hamer, who is very sensory, she's a lot more poetic than the way I write. Or someone like, what was his name? Max, someone who wrote Grief is a Thing with Feathers, which is another really sensory, basically just a long poem. But actually I suck at poetry, so maybe not that. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. It's just what I think I'm the kind of person that if I walk into a room and there's loads of like new stuff, I'll focus on a tiny detail, and I don't really know why I do that. That's what I do as a person. So that's kind of how I write.
So it's weird because it's one of the things that I loved the most about the book. And it's also, as like the editorial part of my brain would also be like, she needs to cut this here and there. So it was a very weird juxtaposition between it being amazing and it's something I think all of us run into in editing, is all of our favorite lines sometimes have to go so that we can get to the point. But I mean, you do get to the point. It wasn't labored in any way, but sometimes I'm giving away all the best lines from my video about to come out about your book. But like one of the things I said was like, I was watching the beautiful play of light on the knife and at the same time screaming into my e-reader, is somebody getting stabbed or what? Like I didn't know, like, but in some ways I also wouldn't trade that because it had me on the edge of my seat. Like it was prolonging that moment before action. And I think like in my own writing, if I can bring this back to me for a second as a completely egotistical maniac, I like to get right to the bloody punch. Like I really enjoyed, I enjoy that. And you've read a little bit of my stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, everything is driven by action and change, even in white room, like closed off scenarios. Like I'm really wanting to like put people in a thing you have to get them out of, but I couldn't get out of your main character's head. You put me in an isolation chamber that I couldn't get out of. And it had this very tight feeling and it made me have an emotional response to everything that was going on with her when she was in her work, even, which is kind of a small part of the story, really, where she's talking with a coworker. Like that had me on the edge of my seat. Her conversations, I'm like, you can't let them know what you're really like. Like I didn't want her to say anything. I didn't want her to give anything away. I was rooting for her. I was totally on her side the whole time. I'm trying not to spoil your freaking book, man. I'm really
I
trying.
have to say, Hannah does this so well with like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like the opening description of like just the state of our main character's, Sarah's, her house. Like you describe the dishes in her sink and whatnot. And it's like, you couldn't help but like hurt for her. Like you might know people in their life or like mental health. That's how like it it expresses itself in a physical way almost with certain things. And so it was just like the little detail. I kept going back to like the mugs, like the stack of mugs. And it's like, I've known friends that have, it was like, oh man, what an image. And then because you set that up so early, your readers are really connected to this main character. I want to say so much more, but I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to just stop right there. But your little details added a lot to what people thought of the character. Or at least for me. I can't speak for everybody.
I'll just straight up say that I thought the whole thing, top to bottom, was amazing and brilliant and inspiring. It made me want to go write. And I mean, I don't know what else you could really ask for from a book. I give it 5.5 stars out of 4.
Cool.
So I don't know how to say anything nicer about it. And I promised I wouldn't fanboy, but I'm a fan of number 47. So whatever you're doing next, I'm on board. What do you need? What's going on? If you don't let me beta read for your next book, I'm gonna be like furious and frustrated and any other F words.
You can all beta read. We're good.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Yeah.
Although as many people can attest, occasionally I'm not a fun beta reader because I'll tell you exactly what I think.
No, I want that.
I honestly think your writing is freaking brilliant. I really do.
I think one of the main things I wanted to do in number 47 was really convey the idea of claustrophobia. And I've realized actually with almost everything I've ever written, that's in there. I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't know. It's just a weird through line that pretty much everything long form that I've written comes back to the idea of feeling trapped. So,
oh, that's interesting.
So that brings up a really interesting question because I've discovered something just recently, thematic all the way through everything I've ever written. I've written, I think it's 9 novels now and 200 and something short stories. I'm a weirdo. I never stop. And but there's like, for me, like I am just obsessed with the balance between right and left, order and chaos, masculine, feminine. And I think that the most beautiful version of the world is when those things are in balance. And it's like, it comes out in every one of my stories, every one. Like when the, order, tyrannical, masculine thing gets too strong, the chaotic, creative, feminine rises up to balance it. And when the chaos gets too crazy, someone needs to tame the chaos. Like all of my stories kind of center around that. Do you guys feel like you have like a central theme? Like she was just talking, Hannah was just talking about like a claustrophobic feeling being a central theme in her writing. Do you ever feel like that there's something that's just always itching at you, a problem that needs to be solved that comes out in all of your stories? Anybody? Talk now.
I don't know. You've read like my collection. I think, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of undertones with like family connections and family ties, and things are not what it seems ever with anyone.
Grandmas.
But yeah, okay, fine. Grandmas. I have a thing with grandmas. I don't know.
Okay. If I had to sum up Bethany's theme the way I just did mine is always the battle for balance. That's what I think about all the time in all my stories. And I'm a big believer that we all need each other bad. Like people with different ideas and different. My dog's just sprinted across the room, he's screeching at the doorbell. But I like really believe that as much as you think that people with your opposing views are your enemy, they're not. They're the other side of a teeter-totter of balance that you need to not spiral off into some awful place. And it's hard to see. It's hard to see because you disagree with other people, you disagree with other opinions, you disagree with other ways of living, and you just say they're wrong. But there's a strange thing that happens on the pivot point between those opinions. And I think that's where truth is. And I'm always like looking for that. Even when I'm writing a story about people with guns and angels and demons and like science fiction and magic and all that stuff, it's always on my mind and I can never get it out. So with Bethany's writing, and I'm just going to embarrass the crap out of her right now, I think her writing is about uncovering secrets. It's about unearthing truth.
Okay, yeah, I'm with that.
She talks about connections all the time, but I think that those connections are hidden to a lot of us and a lot of people all the time. And I think Bethany is a master at unearthing the truth in those connections and like exposing it to the light.
Yeah, read my short story collection end of June, and maybe you'll see this come to life.
Did you decide on a name for the collection yet? I think you told me. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
Scribbles and Scrawls.
I like it.
Yeah, because one of my titles for a story in there is called Scribbles, so I was like, I can have a story title in it, and then Scrawls because it's like gritty and dark and yeah. Oh, and I did a couple of illustrations for it, and they're all like scribble art, so it fits.
Those are so cool. Like I honestly think they should be like chapter breaks or story breaks. Those things are really neat, man. Those grab me. They're it could be an amazing picture, but there's all these different like interconnecting scribbles in between, and it almost tricks the eye. Like you see the whole picture and then you don't, and then you do. It's really amazing.
Thanks.
It's like one of those blot paintings from the psychological.
Oh,
Okay, guys, it's been an amazing stream. I'm gonna shut it down because I am just complete selfish jerk, and I want to talk to these authors in the green room. Like I just can't. Like I have a million questions that I don't want to ask on air that I want to talk to them about. So I'm gonna be a complete selfish jerk. And thanks everybody for showing up today and putting up with my drunkenness. And thanks for everybody that had the guts to put their flash right out there in front of everybody live. Last words from our host here. What do you got to say, Sui? What do you got to say?
Thanks for having me. I'll be back again when I have a lot more time.
Anytime. Hannah Palmer, what you got?
yeah, thanks for having me. This was really good fun. A nice foray into Flash, my second time. So yes, I'll
Would you
definitely
do it again? Would you do it again?
Yeah, I'll definitely do it again. Let's do it.
Bethany Votaw, what you got?
And I can't believe we've done this 5 times. Like, man, our livers, right? No, this is fun. Thanks for having me, and can't wait to do it again.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. As I always say at the end of every stream, if you're a writer, if you want to be a writer, if you really think it's something that you want to do, there's only one way to get it done. Get your butt in the seat and your fingers on the keyboards and keep writing. Thank you very much. Don't Drink in Live episode 5. Later.